Our coal portfolio remains our bedrock. I just want to stress that. However, one has to take account and not be blinded by the realities, the global realities around climate change risks. We also have to ask ourselves, with the advent of innovation and new disruptive technologies, what impact are these going to have into our business in terms of the markets that we serve? How will these be impacted by these new technologies? How are they going to redefine the business models of energy? And with that in mind, we have to also start understanding what new materials are going to be coming at play that are going to augment the current materials that talk to the markets that we are playing in. And how will those be disrupted? How are the things like 3D printing are going to start disrupting some of our current markets? So these are the things that at a strategic level, we have to be continuously asking and searching for answers for these things. So that one day we don't wake up where we have a very strong coal business, which we will be there because we've got long-term contracts, but opportunities that come about as a result of climate change and also these other disruptive technologies could impact on our other existing markets. So with that in mind, we are saying to ourselves, we have to start thinking beyond just coal. We have to start thinking beyond mining. We have to start understanding what are the big global challenges that this planet is going to be facing, of which some of those we are experiencing here today in South Africa. We're experiencing issues of water security in South Africa. We're experiencing issues of food security in South Africa. We're experiencing issues, and we have had issues of energy security. And therefore, in looking at this and looking at a growing population, which is going to be growing by the rate of at least 2 billion people, especially into Africa in the next coming 30 to 40 years. And if we were to create a very sustainable business going into that future, what are the things that we have to start looking at today? Given the fact that we've got vast land resources, in some instances we've got issues around having to deal with water, where now we have to spend capital in terms of water treatment, water management systems, long after we've closed our mines. How do we take those and we see those costs in a positive way? So in looking, and also in looking at the World Economic Forum global reports, over the last few years, amongst the top 10 global risks, which are persistently there, talks to energy security, water security, and food security. And so we see these are areas of opportunities for Exxaro to going into the future. And thus, we also understand that we cannot do this alone. In the same way we could not deal with renewable energy alone. We have to be looking at how we collaborate, how we find partners. And this is exactly what we are doing right now. We are talking to various groups, we're talking to various ecosystems to say, how do we, as they are also looking at the same similar challenges, can we pull our heads together and find opportunities where we can start solving these big global challenges? In doing this, we understand the issues of capital allocation. We very much understand the issues of capital allocation. Hence why we want to share the risk. Hence why we are looking more on the technological side in terms of the service solutions that we want to bring to bear, whilst others are there being able to toil the land and actually bring these products. It's how do we create platforms to ensure that we can get these things to market. So we are looking at capital light, fast-growing areas of high returns, which we can rapidly develop with others. We are currently in active negotiations for a potential investment that we will present additional sources of earnings with time. And as soon as we have more clarity regarding these negotiations, we will communicate such progress to the market.
Darren Marder from HSBC, have you set aside a certain amount of money towards these new ventures?
The cost that we incurred for the year was about 100 million rand. And that is now more to explore these business opportunities. If you acquire one of these opportunities, they're fairly capital light.
The second question was tangible benefits of the BE deal.
We think it's a business imperative ultimately to have that able for us to roll out our strategy and do business in South Africa.
I think what we all need to appreciate in South Africa, and it was very, very well articulated and clearly stated by the state president in his SONA address, that it is a policy of this government to drive transformation and inclusive growth. And I think all of us has to just get comfortable with that. And therefore, the mere fact that we have went ahead, even before the charter, there was any clarity on the charter in terms of putting this new BE transaction. It was already foreseeing the critical requirement for this country to move forward. If we don't drive transformation, meaningful transformation and inclusive growth for this country, we will always have an uncertain future. The time is now. That is why even within BUSA, we are saying it is time now for business to understand that they have to play their role, a very meaningful role in addressing this issue of transformation and inclusive growth. It has to be done.